Hello, friends. So good to be with you today. I was having a conversation with somebody some time back, and they were just telling me how much it was almost like how much they hated life. It wasn't going good for them. They were not enjoying it. It just seemed like they were not getting anywhere. The whole conversation began to end up with, "I don't even think I have a purpose. I don't have a direction. I don't have a reason." And they kind of gave the feeling of, I'm stuck in life. I can't move forward, I can't move backward. And it was almost like just a vicious loop that holds them in captivity. I mean, they've got movement. God, they're running like crazy, but they're just stuck in these non-productive behaviors. Kind of like have you seen one of those, a mouse that was in, or a hamster that was in a hamster wheel? What do they call it? I can't even get the thing in my mind. Hamster wheel. It's like they're in this wheel and they're running, they're exerting so much energy, but they're not going anywhere. And that's exactly what this person was telling me. They just said, "I just feel like I'm just not going anyplace." So I've been thinking about that, and I just wanted to just briefly talk to you about that and really give you an off ramp from that. I mean, you may feel like I'm on and I can't find an off ramp. Well, I want to give you an off ramp because we've all felt like that. We've all felt like we were in this loop of dead habit. Same reoccurring problem, same song, second verse. The scenery never changed. I just get up, I do this, I go through this motion, I go to bed. I don't know what in the world's the matter with me. It kind of reminds me of what they call the doldrums. And the doldrums, because you ever heard of somebody that are just kind of stuck in life, and that's the phrase that they use. And actually, that's a term that they used back in the days when they would sail across the ocean using sails. They weren't using engines; they were actually using sails. And around the equator, there was a spot where, at times, and they didn't know when it was going to come, that the wind would just seemingly stop. And when you're trusting in sails, sail for the wind to blow into the sail to move you along, you can't have that happen. And they said sometimes that the doldrums would land in the doldrums, and the wind would stop sometimes for an hour, sometimes for days, sometimes even for weeks, and they would die. You ever hear the term of a ghost ship? Well, what would happen is they would get stuck in that thing, and it would last so long that they would run out of water, they would run out of food, and they couldn't get out of it, and everybody on there would just die. And when you'd find them, there was just everyone was dead. And it was because of the doldrums. Now, the wind actually didn't stop. Rather than moving across like wind normally does, the wind would actually come through, but it would blow straight up. And so it would give no sense of any movement whatsoever. And so the point being is the fact that people that would get stuck in that, in the doldrums. And so that's kind of like a lot of people's lives. They're just in a place of non-productive patterns and non-productive behaviors, and they're just bored with life. And I won't tell you today how to get out of that. I won't tell you how to move yourself along. I've got something that I love. I wanted to share with you right quick. I can't help but grin when I read this thing, because I understand exactly, because I've been there. And this is autobiography in 5 short chapters. Okay, I'll give you 5 short chapters that is an autobiography of life. Listen to this. All right, here's the first one. First chapter is this one. I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I'm lost. I'm helpless, but it's not my fault. And that's usually, we always say that in. So we always add that in there. It's not my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. Now, that's the first chapter. The second chapter is this. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I still don't see it. I fall in again. I cannot believe I'm in the exact same place, but it isn't my fault. And it still takes me a long time to get out. That's the second chapter. The third chapter. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it there, I still fall in. It's habit. It's my fault. But I know where I am, and so I get out immediately. Now, here's the fourth chapter. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. I recognize it. I walk around it. Wow. Okay, here's the fifth chapter. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk, but I walk around a different street. I walk down a different street. Now, that might seem oversimplified to you, but it really does tell kind of where we are in life. And here's the reason it does. I can ask you this question right now. Which chapter are you in? Which one of those chapters defines your life? Can I say this to you? Your habits have gotten you there. Your habits got you there. And your habits, they keep you there. You've developed a habit, and it's kept you tied to that because you're going along the routine of your life, and you fall in because of habit. You end up doing the same thing today, the same thing tomorrow, the same thing the next day. It's almost predictable. But I want to say you can get out. And what I want to talk to you about is changing on purpose your routine. That's where you've got to do it. The responsibility is yours. You can pray, God, I'm asking that you get me out of this mess that I've been in. But the bottom line is that responsibility falls on you. You're the one that's going to have to make the decision to do something different than you did before. If you keep doing what you did before, you can't be surprised that you keep getting what you're getting. Everything in life that comes to you, everything that happens to you. Well, I'm going to say most things. I mean, obviously, sometimes we can be just completely blindsided by something unexpected. But listen to me, you know as well as I do, that's the exception and not the rule. The rule is the fact that we do things that produce something in our life, and we do it until it becomes comfortable, it becomes predictable, but it's not producing anything. It just ends up. It almost just ends up like being on this dead end treadmill. I'm working like crazy. I'm pushing like crazy, but I'm not getting any place. I want to encourage you today. Change your routines. Do something different than you've been doing. Stop doing. Identify. Number one, you need to identify what brought me to this place. What decisions? Again, I want to just repeat this. You got where you are because you've made the decision and you worked hard to be there. You are where you are today because of you. Now, it could be from being lazy. It could be from not having a work ethic. It could be from not keeping your word. It could be just, and I've seen, listen, I have seen people that would make excuses for themselves, and they would just lie, and they would say, and instead of telling the truth, say they were supposed to be someplace. Well, and they'd say, well, I got sick. Well, they get to where they do that so much that it becomes obvious. They get locked in that, and every time they run into something, they make excuses. They never acknowledge the fact that this is their fault. They got fired because it's their fault. Nobody fires a good employee. Your mate didn't run off and leave you because you were doing everything right. You developed patterns that brought you where you are today. Well, no one likes me. Well, the the Bible says if a man wants friends, he's got to show himself friendly. That has to be done on purpose. Kindness, being friendly, smiling, being generous, giving more than you take. Those are habits. Those are decisions that develop into patterns, that develop into habits. I'm always early. I'm always on time. I keep my word, even if it costs me something. I'm never going to be caught talking bad about somebody. I'm not going to criticize. I'm not going to be someone that no matter what happens, you're going to hear a complaint coming out of my mouth. I mean, sometimes it's hard to do that. It's hard to not complain when you've got that right on the tip of your tongue and you feel like it because it feels good for a moment to say it. It does. I mean, you feel like somebody's done something wrong, and you just want to feel like your opinion is that important, and so you just blurt out something, and it becomes habit until you do that all the time, and you're defined by it. So I want to say to you, you're walking down the sidewalk. You keep falling in the same blooming hole. You need to look at what took you there. Look at the path that brought you on that sidewalk. Eventually, you're going to have to go down a different street. You don't want what you're getting. You're going to have to change what you're doing. And you need to do that today. So are you getting bad reports? There's a reason. Are you losing friends? There's a reason. Are you always broke? There's a reason. All of those are the hole that you fall into. You know, I'm just trying to think of what else it might be. The things that we do that don't produce what we want. And it's your responsibility. God, you can't blame it on God. You can't blame it on anybody else but you. You've worked hard for it. You've disciplined yourself in that negative thing. You've sacrificed for it. You, through stubbornness, dug in and said, they're wrong. And you know what? Sometimes just admitting, I'm wrong. I'm wrong and I'm sorry. Listen, I have apologized for stuff I didn't even do to get past the impasse that I was facing. And the Bible says that. It says yielding pacifies great offense. Sometimes just yielding. Don't be stubborn. Back up. Look at the road that brought you where you are and determine, I'm going to go down a different road. I don't even want to see that hole that I've been falling into, because this is a time where you've got to embrace life at a different level, but you're not going to get there if you're constantly doing the same thing over and over and over. Success leaves a trail, and so does failure. Find out what you're doing, and you might even look at somebody else. Find a mentor. Find out what they're doing. Because I promise you, it doesn't matter the person. If I do what you did, I should get kind of the same results that you got. But that's also the same place. You can take somebody that's in prison, somebody that's a drug addict, somebody that's an alcoholic, somebody that's been divorced for 9 times. That leaves a trail, and it tells you they've kept falling in the same hole, and they couldn't change it. And almost always, it's somebody else's fault. So, which chapter are you in? What defines your life? Today, right now, you need to make the decision to change your routine, change your habits. And I promise you, life will produce in a beautiful and marvelous way for you. All right, guys, that's what I've got for you. Please push like, share this, and I would deeply appreciate it. I want you guys to take care of yourself. I am looking forward to seeing some good things in your life. I really believe that with all my heart. I want you to have a wonderful and a blessed day. You got a life of blessing in front of you. Let's go for it.